You are obligated to safeguard these 5 items, which are more important than money or gold, when you reach the age of 70. Did you know that there are some items that become more valuable or easier to lose than gold around the age of 70? As we become older, we frequently find ourselves reflecting on the past, recalling the things that we have labored towards, the plans that we have devised, and the passage of time that has passed by more quickly than we had anticipated. However, what a lot of people fail to grasp is that around the age of 70, life doesn't simply change in terms of speed, it also changes in terms of significance. For the most part, the things that are actually important at this moment are not necessarily the same things that we used to pursue. Their depth, quietness, and longevity are all greater. There are 5 things that are more valuable than gold, and we are going to discuss them in this video. You may find that nourishing them now is the single most significant investment you can make in your later years. And there are several reasons for this. This is not a collection of feelings or thoughts that are merely abstract. They are the cornerstone of a life that is longer, more fulfilling, and more tranquil. They have an effect on how you feel when you open your eyes in the morning, how connected you are to the people around you, and how free you feel to genuinely appreciate the time that you have left. If you stay with us to the very end, you will find that these 5 truths have the potential to alter the way you view your days from this point forward. A further and more essential benefit is that they will serve as a constant reminder that your existence continues to be of tremendous importance, not only to you but also to the people who love you. You have put in a lot of effort. You have contributed a lot. And now, more than ever, you have earned the right to focus your attention on these things that will truly enrich the years that lie ahead of you. To begin, your physical mobility is the concern. It is common for people to see numbers on a chart when they think about their health after the age of 70. As well as weight, blood pressure, and cholesterol. The ease with which you are able to walk, on the other hand, is one of the most important indications of your overall health and well-being. Staying active is not the only factor that determines your physical mobility. Let's talk about liberty. To be able to walk to your mailbox without fear, to get out of bed without assistance, or to climb stairs without experiencing any pain is what it means to be handicapped. Independence can be achieved by even the smallest of movements. Additionally, if that starts to disappear, your capacity to appreciate life on your own terms will also begin to diminish. Mobility is a factor that influences all aspects of your day-to-day life. It has an effect on your self-assurance, your mood, the quality of sleep you get, and even your capacity to talk to other people. It is common for people to begin reducing the size of their environment without even being aware of it when movement becomes difficult. They spend less time outside. They avoid doing errands. They sit for longer periods of time. And gradually, their existence becomes more limited, not due to the fact that they are getting older, but rather because their body no longer feels trustworthy. Further, this change has an impact not just on the physical body but also on the mental state. Consider the case of Barbara, a woman who is 73 years old who used to spend her mornings tending to her garden. When she started experiencing pain in her knees, she quit. Initially, it was just a few days that were skipped, and then it became a few weeks. Almost immediately, she became aware that she did not feel like doing much at all. As she made her way around the grocery store, she noticed that her legs were becoming weaker, and she began to feel wobbly. To the extent that she refrained from moving, her strength continued to deteriorate. On the other hand, she experienced a revitalization when her neighbor suggested that she begin stretching and walking for just 10 minutes each afternoon. The regaining of strength in her legs was not the only thing that occurred. It was the idea that she was in control. With regard to mobility, this is the unspoken truth. You will lose it if you do not make use of it. Nevertheless, the good news is that even modest attempts to maintain an active lifestyle can help you maintain strong muscles, a keen balance, and a resilience in your body. Doing things like walking about the house while you are on the phone, doing easy stretches first thing in the morning, or rising from a chair without using your hands are all examples of behaviors that send a message to your body that movement is still important. Moreover, your body reacts to it. It is receptive. It is not necessary for you to run a marathon. It is not necessary for you to perform any strenuous activities or lift large weights. The thing that you require is constancy. Reminding your joints that they were designed to move, your muscles that they still have work to perform, and your bones that they still require strength are all things that you need to do consistently. The capacity to move around without discomfort is one of the most valuable assets that comes with getting older. This is not only because it is a pleasant sensation, but also because it provides you with options, instead of allowing predetermined constraints to determine the course of your day. It gives you the ability to make your own decisions. Traveling freely is not a luxury. It is a type of wealth itself. In addition, just like any other valuable item, it too needs care, attention, and security. When you take care of it, you are not only safeguarding your physical health, you are also conserving your independence and your faith in the unhurried pleasure of living your life according to your own terms. The second point is having meaningful relationships. As we become older, we gradually come to realize that the relationship we have with the people in our lives is significantly more important than the possessions we have amassed. But despite this, it is not difficult for relationships to fall into the background when routines get more established. Loved ones move away, or life becomes more quiet altogether. But one of the most effective things you can do for your mental clarity, your emotional health, and even your physical well-being is to make sure that you maintain deep and meaningful connections with other people, including your family, friends, neighbors, and even new acquaintances. The appearance of loneliness is not always the same as being alone. There are instances when it appears to be quiet, such as when dinner is consumed in front of the television or when days pass without a genuine conversation taking place. In addition, although being alone can be a calming experience, spending an excessive amount of time alone can gradually diminish your sense of self-worth and purpose. It is hardwired into human beings to form connections. However, this is not merely a psychological desire, rather, it is a biological need. Additionally, if you do not satisfy that desire, your immune system will become less effective, your memory will become less sharp, and your body will become more susceptible to disease and weariness. Think about someone like Walter, a widower who lived alone for many years after the death of his wife. Walter is 79 years old currently. First, he didn't seem to mind the lack of noise. Reading and doing little housework were two of his favorite things to do. Nevertheless, as time went on, he became aware of a change. The laughter left his face. A genuine supper was not something he felt like preparing. In his leisure activities, he lost interest. Not until his daughter urged him to move closer and pushed him to join a local community group did things start to change. His daughter was the one who initiated the transformation. The spark was still present. His hunger and thirst returned. Even his stance became more upright. The scientific evidence backs up what he has experienced. We are revitalized in ways that no pharmaceutical could ever hope to accomplish. Companionship is only one benefit that comes from having strong relationships. They provide a venue in which you may tell your story, experience being heard, and make a contribution. Affirmation of your value might be found in the form of someone asking for your opinion, sharing a joke with you, or simply sitting with you in silence. It serves as a reminder that matters to you. This reminder, which is repeated via the encounters you have on a daily basis, helps to keep your spirit engaged and your heart open. In addition to this, it offers something that goes much beyond mere comfort. It affords certain safeguards. Researchers have found that those who have strong social relationships tend to live longer, recover from illness and experience more quickly, and have lower rates of both despair and anxiety. In order to rebuild connections, it is not necessary to communicate with all of the people from your past. It all begins with a single phone call, a single gift in the mail, and a single cup of coffee that is shared. Additionally, it may be with a new acquaintance, a neighbor who is nice, a fellow volunteer, or a somebody that you recognize from your neighborhood diner. The magnitude of the circle is not nearly as important as the degree of connection that exists between the two parties. The most important thing is to show up and to allow other people to show up for you. If you make meaningful relationships a priority in your life, you are doing more than just making your days more joyful. The fact that you are constructing a safety net for your future serves as a reminder that even if life is changing, you do not have to face it together. These are things that are more enduring than gold: the warmth of friendship, the closeness of family, and the goodwill of others. I would appreciate it if you could use the second comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. Mental clarity comes in at number 3. One of the most valuable gifts you can give yourself as you become older is the ability to maintain your mental capacity to think clearly. Remember specifics, and remain mentally engaged until you reach old age. In order to get mental clarity, it is not necessary to have a perfect memory or to solve difficult puzzles. Maintaining a connection to the world around you, continuing to engage in learning, and having self-assurance in your thinking are all important aspects. In addition, just like physical strength, it is something that needs to be developed over the course of time. In proportion to the sharpness of your mind, the vitality and significance of your existence will increase. The onset of cognitive impairment is frequently unnoticed. It is possible that you will become aware of it in subtle ways, such as forgetting names, lost track of time, or experiencing increased mental fatigue after performing simple chores. But despite the fact that these shifts can be frustrating, they are not unavoidable. Even if you are in your 70s or 80s, your brain is still capable of developing and renewing itself, providing it with new information. Gently challenging it, and keeping it engaged with a goal are all essential components of the stimulation process. In the same way that a plant flourishes when it is tended to on a regular basis, so does your mind. Please allow me to introduce you to Irene, an 82-year-old woman who started to experience feelings of frustration when she began to forget the names of performers and movies that she had cherished for many years. She believed that it was a natural part of the aging process and that there was nothing that could be done about it. However, after that, her grandson sent her a collection of word games as a gift and urged her to play one of them every day. What began as a simple deed eventually evolved into a highly regarded ceremony. As time went on, she noticed that she was becoming more awake, more curious, and more confident in her ability to carry on discussions. The fog that had been obscuring her thoughts started to dissipate, not all at once but gradually and noticeably. Constructing puzzles or playing games are not the only ways to keep one's mind clear. It is also supported by a healthy diet, a pleasant night's sleep, adequate water, and most importantly, active participation. To keep your brain active and engaged, you should engage in activities such as reading, writing, learning a new hobby, investigating history, or even teaching others what you know. You can enhance your brain connections by engaging in activities such as conversations, debates, journaling, or simply reflecting on experiences from the past. It is not necessary for you to study textbooks. All you need to do is maintain your curiosity. The spiritual and emotional aspects of clarity are sometimes disregarded, despite the fact that they are important. When you have a mind that is filled with regret, resentment, or dread, it is more difficult to concentrate, to go asleep, and to have a sense of serenity. Therefore, letting go of things that cannot be changed, of past scars, and of the pressure to be who you previously were is also a necessary step in the process of achieving mental clarity. When you accept where you are right now with grace and compassion, you create space for mental steadiness and calmness to enter your life. If you make an effort to improve your mental clarity, you are not just keeping your memory, but you are also conserving your present. You are making the conscious decision to remain alert to your life rather than merely passing through it. Maintaining a strong identity, maintaining lively relationships, and keeping your days full of possibilities are all things that you are doing. This clarity is more than just a mental state. It is a way of intentionally and thoughtfully presenting yourself to yourself on a daily basis. In addition, there are not many things that are more valuable than that at this point in one's life. Peace of mind comes in at number 4. When you are younger, serenity may feel like a luxury, something that you should seek once the work is finished, the house is quiet, or the difficulties have been settled. The more you become older, however, the more you come to understand that tranquility is not merely a reward, rather, it is a requirement. It is the basis of your emotional well-being, the place where your heart can find peace, and the underlying reason why your body is able to heal in a genuine way. When one reaches the age of 70 or older, the peace of mind becomes one of the most valuable treasures. There are things that you can cultivate that are more valuable than belongings, accomplishments, or even accolades. There is no such thing as having a flawless life, rather, peace is achieved by learning how to live a good life within the confines of an imperfect life. The outcome is the result of letting go of grudges, letting go of burdens that you no longer need to carry, and embracing each day without attempting to control every outcome. This does not mean that you stop caring, rather, it means that you start caring in a more thoughtful manner, guarding your thoughts, protecting your energy, and selecting the things that actually worth your attention. Let's use Richard as an illustration, shall we? He is currently 84 years old. Throughout the majority of his life, he was preoccupied with concerns regarding his finances, his children, and the opinions of others. Even after retiring, the habit continued to be a problem. He discovered that he was rehashing past discussions, harboring resentment from a long time ago, and having trouble sleeping due to circumstances that were completely beyond his control. Then, one day after he had a health scare, his daughter presented him with a straightforward journal and requested that he write down 3 things that he was thankful for each and every night. At first, he made an effort to resist, but with time, something shifted. The written word turned into a mirror, serving as a constant reminder that there were still positive things, bright moments, and moments of serenity to be discovered. It is the calm fact about serenity that attentiveness is the first step toward achieving it. It is important to pay attention to what is still going well, what is still feasible, and what is still within grasp. The more you become aware of those things, the more you will find that your hold on everything else begins to loosen. Peace does not mean that life becomes simpler, rather, it means that you become rooted and supported, and that you are ready to confront whatever comes your way with a heart that is not always fighting against itself. Spending time in nature, praying or meditating, sitting in quiet with a friend, or simply watching the light transition through your window in the afternoon are all ways that you can cultivate a sense of spiritual and emotional well-being. A soothing bath, soothing music, or the peace and quiet of the early morning are all places where you can discover it. You do not need to look very far because it is not in the air, rather, it is already present within you. The only thing you need to do is make room for it. Forgiveness, gratitude, and acceptance are the instruments that lead to peace, and you are the sole owner of these tools during the entire process. As you continue to practice them, you will notice that your heart becomes lighter. When your heart feels light, your body breathes more freely, your mind rests more profoundly, and your spirit flows through the world with ease. All of these things are happening simultaneously. I would appreciate it if you could use the 4th comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. 5th, this is the moment to focus on what really matters. The fact that your calendar may appear to be less full by the time you reach the age of 70 does not mean that the value of your time is diminished in any way. Actually, its value is higher than it has ever been. The difference is that you are now responsible for determining how to make use of it. This decision, the ability to direct your energy toward the things that provide you with nourishment rather than the ones that deplete it, is also important. You is one of the most beautiful liberties that comes with becoming older. The moment you start devoting your time to the things that are actually important, your life will feel more complete, richer, and much more serene. In their older years, many people come to the realization that they have wasted a significant amount of time on activities that, when viewed in retrospect, do not actually matter, concerning oneself with the opinions of others, seeking approval, clinging to guilt, and agreeing to something when one would have preferred to say no. In addition, although we are unable to reverse the decisions we made in the past, we are able to make a decision about how we will spend our time right now. There are only so many mornings, discussions, sunsets, and opportunities for you to tell me that you love me during your lifetime. Each one is significant. The moment you begin to see your time as a precious commodity, everything starts to shift in a different direction. Consider the case of Leonard, a 76-year-old man who used to run errands every day in order to prevent himself from experiencing feelings of idleness. However, he continued to experience feelings of restlessness at the conclusion of each week, as if he was without something. It wasn't until a friend of his persuaded him to volunteer at a shelter in the neighborhood that he understood the significance of what he was doing. He started devoting more of his time to activities that brought him a sense of vitality and less time to thinking about how busy he was. In a single afternoon, he experienced a greater sense of fulfillment than he had in years of fulfilling the expectations that were placed upon him. This was true whether he was assisting other people, listening to music, or simply sitting outside with his coffee. The solution does not lie in doing more. The most important thing is to actually do it. One example of this might be taking the time to write letters to people who are important to you, reading a book that you have always intended to begin, sitting with old photographs and reflecting on the life you have led, or even just allowing yourself to rest without feeling guilty, because rest is also an essential component of having a healthy life. It is not necessary for the decision you make to impress anyone. All that is required is for it to be significant to you. As you get older, one of the most significant changes that takes place is that you eventually stop living for a period of time. The realization that the moments that are occurring right now are the ones that matter starts to set in. And when you align your time with your heart, devoting your attention to people, activities, and locations that fill you up, you create a life that feels deeply yours from the inside out. Having time like this is not a waste of time. It is held in trust, in the stillness of knowing that you are making the decision to live the remainder of your life by design rather than by default. There are few things that are more valuable than that understanding. Lastly, some thoughts. As we come to the end of this film, I would like to encourage you to take a moment to not just think but also feel. Out of these 5 treasures, which one does you feel most connected to? Was it something that you have been cultivating for some time now? Or is it something that you have only realized you have been lacking? No matter what it was, you should keep it. Simply put, the years that lie ahead are not only about making ends meet. They are about going deeper, about discovering your purpose in life, and about selecting the things that offer you peace. At the age of 70 and beyond, you are in a unique and influential position in life. You have experienced enough to understand what is truly significant. You've been through enough to know what doesn't work for other people. And now you have the opportunity to organize your time in accordance with the things that actually nourish your spirit. We are not obligated to do so. In no way due to fear. On the other hand, out of a profound and unassuming wisdom that you have acquired throughout the course of your life, I want to take this opportunity to remind you that it is never too late to start over. In order to move your body with caution, in order to communicate with someone who is missing you, to provide your mind a new experience that will invigorate it, must let go of the things that weight you down. Also, to devote your time, which is the most priceless gift you can give, to matters that bring you closer to happiness. This is your turn to compose the following chapter. You are still in possession of the pen. We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. Please leave a comment below and tell us about one item you discovered today and how you intend to put it to use in your life right now. We place a high value on your opinions, so please do not be reluctant to share them with us. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.